Have you noticed that there are days when your home seems to absorb your energy? No matter how much you tidy up, there is always something out of place. There is always a task waiting. There is always a corner calling for your attention. Today we are going to change that from the root. Because in this video I am going to show you 10 little known but incredibly effective Japanese routines so that your home stays tidy almost effortlessly and, most importantly, so that you recover your peace as a homemaker. I am not talking about basic tricks. I will not talk to you about clean while you cook or make your bed as soon as you wake up. No. Today you are going to discover real, silent, and powerful Japanese habits that transform entire homes without anyone noticing. Stay, because if you apply just 3 of these routines, your home is going to feel lighter in less than a week. If you are already ready, relax, make yourself comfortable, close your eyes if you want, and listen to these 10 incredible routines. The first Japanese routine, shikari miru, may seem simple, but it is one of the most powerful for keeping a home organized without feeling like you are cleaning all day. Looking with intention is not observing just to observe. It is training the eye to detect microclutter before it becomes a problem. Japanese housewives do not wait until the weekend to tidy up. They do it in those 30 seconds before leaving a room. And here is the secret. They do not try to leave the room perfect. They just choose one thing, a single one, and leave it better than they found it. It might be straightening a cushion, picking up a glass, closing a drawer, arranging a towel, emptying a small wastebasket, folding a blanket, or putting an object back in its place. That minimal gesture, repeated every time you pass through a room, creates an accumulative effect so big that it practically eliminates clutter before it appears. The most interesting thing is that this routine works even if you have little time, small children, or many responsibilities. Because it does not demand perfection, it does not generate stress. In fact, it works like a soft reminder that your home does not need you to sacrifice yourself in order to be in order. It just needs consistency. And that is exactly what Japanese women do. They turn discipline into something so light that it is almost not felt. Instead of letting objects pile up into stacks that then overwhelm you, shikari miru eliminates those piles before they are born. In addition, this technique reduces mental fatigue. Each object out of place is a pending micro-decision. When the home is full of them, your mind becomes saturated, you get irritated faster, and you feel that you are not moving forward. But when you apply shikari miru, you clear those decisions one by one in a natural way and without realizing it. And here is the magic. After a week, you notice that your home remains tidy even though you have not done big cleaning marathons. It is as if clutter stopped growing. Think of this routine as invisible maintenance. It does not take extra time, because you do it while you are already walking, leaving, or moving through the house. It does not tire you, because it does not force you to do more than you can. And it does not overwhelm you, because your only objective is to leave the room a little bit better. That is all. And that little bit, repeated every day, is what transforms a home. If homemakers understood this routine as a lifestyle instead of a task, cleaning would be easier, faster, and much less heavy. Do you want to avoid marathon cleaning sessions? Start with 30 seconds, and a single improvement each time. That is the essence of true Japanese order. The second Japanese routine, mono no naga, literally means the natural flow of things. And this philosophy completely changes the way you organize your home, because it is not based on aesthetics or on what looks pretty on Pinterest, but on how your body actually moves inside the home. In Japan, housewives observe their daily movements, where they stop, what they grab most often, which objects always end up out of place, which things interrupt their path or create micro-chaos. And instead of fighting those habits, they organize the home so that it follows that flow, not to force it. For example, if every time you wash the dishes you need a cloth to dry them, they do not store it far away, they do not fold it in an uncomfortable drawer. They put it right next to the sink, at the exact point where the hand reaches for it automatically. If the phone charger always ends up on the living room table, they do not hide it in a bedroom drawer. They create a small specific spot in the living room to place it, so that the clutter stops repeating itself. Objects are placed where life uses them, not where they are supposed to go. The most powerful thing about mono no naga is that it is not a static system. Every week, Japanese women review these flows. They observe, what thing did I find out of place again? What object got in my way? What did I look for and not find quickly? What could be closer to the place where I need it? That mini weekly review takes only a few minutes, but it prevents your home from becoming a space full of obstacles and invading objects. And this hugely reduces the time you spend cleaning. When objects have a logical, close, and accessible home, they return to their place effortlessly. But when they are far away, high, hidden, or badly located, they stay out. And that is what creates piles, visual chaos, and daily stress. Mono no naga removes friction. Everything is in the place where it is easiest to use it and put it back. Imagine how much your day changes when you no longer have to walk from one end to the other to put something away, when you do not have to keep correcting the same clutter over and over again, when the home collaborates with you instead of fighting you every morning. This habit creates more efficient, quieter, simpler homes. It is not about having fewer things, it is about everything flowing. And when the flow is natural, life also becomes lighter. If you want to reduce your daily cleaning time, start to observe how you move. And let your home adapt to you, not the other way around. That is the true essence of mono no naga. The third routine, known as Mizutama Reset, is one of the most surprising because its power lies in something so simple that most people never consider it: eliminating moisture before going to bed. In Japan, housewives understand that water is the silent origin of many household problems. Limescale, yellow stains, mold, bad odors, grease that adheres faster, and even insects attracted by moisture. That is why, instead of letting the water evaporate on its own during the night, they practice a brief but extremely effective ritual: drying everything. This reset is not a deep cleaning. It does not require you to scrub, use special products, or dedicate extra time. They simply take a dry cloth, often a cloth used exclusively for this routine, and quickly wipe the sink, the kitchen sink, the edges of the shower, the faucets, and any surface that has been left wet during the day. In less than 2 minutes, they eliminate visible moisture. And that small gesture has enormous consequences. When a surface remains dry during the night, the formation of limescale, which is a silent enemy in bathrooms and kitchens, stops completely. It also prevents soap and dirt from mixing with water and sticking, so the next day cleaning takes half the time because there are no hardened residues. The home wakes up looking cleaner without you having practically done anything. Japanese housewives often repeat a principle: what you clean today does not accumulate tomorrow, and Mizutama Reset is the easiest way to apply it without effort. Another benefit is the smell. A bathroom or kitchen that sleeps wet generates stagnant moisture, creating aromas that nobody wants at home. But when you dry before going to bed, you eliminate that heavy atmosphere, and the home wakes up fresh, light, almost as if you had cleaned it in depth. It even helps extend the useful life of furniture and metals, because constant moisture wears down materials without us realizing it. This Japanese habit works especially well for homemakers with little time, because it saves you work the next day. What you would normally clean in 10 minutes, after Mizutama Reset takes you 3. And above all, it gives you a feeling of order even if you have not cleaned everything. It is a silent but transformative routine. It does not change your night, but it does change your morning. Drying today means resting tomorrow. And that, in a real home, is worth gold. The fourth routine, Kage Choto, literally means a little bit of shadow. And this Japanese habit is brilliant because it attacks exactly the type of dirt that makes a home look dirty even when you have cleaned. Japanese women understand that dust does not accumulate on large surfaces, those we all clean, but on invisible edges. The legs of tables, the corners where the floor meets the wall, door tracks, frames, the edges of the sofa, the bases of lamps, and all those places that are not dirty at first glance, but project shadows that give the home a neglected appearance. Kage Choto consists of cleaning only those shadows. Not the entire piece of furniture, not the entire living room, not the entire floor. Just those centimeters that, if ignored, begin to darken the home visually. And the most interesting thing is that Japanese women do not do it as part of a formal cleaning routine. They do it while they wait. 2 minutes before the water boils, while the washing machine finishes, while the microwave heats something up, while they wait for someone. It is undercover cleaning, without a schedule, without effort. By focusing on those edges, the visual effect is enormous. Imagine a spotless table, but with dust on the legs. Imagine a clean sofa, but with lint accumulated on the lower part. Imagine the door threshold with a grey line. They are small details, but your eye catches them even if you are not aware of it. The home loses brightness. It looks older. It feels heavier. The Japanese know this, and that is why they attack those shadows before they become dark stains that require deep cleaning. And here is the magic. By doing kage choto every day, dust never gets to accumulate. That means that your general cleanings become much faster because you do not have to kneel, scrub hardened edges, or clean dirt that has been growing for weeks. When those small points are always clean, the whole home looks impeccable, even if you have not vacuumed that day. This routine also has a very strong emotional effect. Seeing that your home stays luminous effortlessly gives you a feeling of control, order, and calm. You are not running, you are not exhausted, you are not waiting for the weekend to recover the home. You are up to date, always. And you achieve it without realizing it, because you use dead minutes, not active time. Kage choto is the kind of Japanese trick that changes homes without anyone understanding how you do it. You only clean shadows, but your entire home looks cleaner than ever. The result? Less fatigue, fewer hours of cleaning, and a home that shines even in the details no one looks at, but everyone feels. The fifth routine, Utsukushi Sut, means discard with beauty, and it is one of the most elegant and respectful practices of Japanese order. Because it is not about throwing things into the trash in a rush or doing compulsive cleaning every time you get frustrated. Japanese women understand that every object has a story, a purpose, and sometimes, an emotional weight. That is why, to avoid guilt and regret, they apply a gentle and conscious process. Before letting something go, they place it in a small exit space. That space can be a pretty box, a basket, a tray, but it is always a visible, calm place where the object waits for 24 hours. It is not a trash can or a punishment, it is a transition space. And this gesture, so simple, has a huge impact on emotional attachment. During those 24 hours, the object stops being part of the home, but it has not left yet. That gives the mind time to adapt, to detach without pain. Japanese women know that when you get rid of something suddenly, doubt appears. Will it be useful later? What if I need it? What if I regret it? That is why they wait. If in those 24 hours they do not miss it, do not look for it, do not need it, then they already have a clear sign. That object has already completed its cycle and is ready to leave. The detachment is conscious, not impulsive, and that means you do not feel guilty again for having thrown something away too quickly. This method also prevents another very common problem, buying unnecessary things again right after having done a cleaning. When you discard without thinking, the emptiness pushes you to fill the space again. But when you discard with beauty, that emptiness feels light, deserved, calm. You no longer fill the home with useless things, because your relationship with objects changes. You begin to value quality more than quantity, real usefulness and not expectation. In addition, Utsukushi Sut allows you to evaluate objects from a clearer emotional perspective. Sometimes you think that you like something just because it has always been there. But when you see it in the exit space, separated from the rest, you realize that it does not match, that you do not use it, that it takes up mental and physical space. It is like seeing the object with new eyes. This Japanese routine turns the act of letting go into something gentle, respectful, and almost ritual. And most importantly, it helps you keep your home free of accumulation without feeling that you are sacrificing anything. You let go with calm, with beauty, and with intention. And that completely transforms your way of relating to order. The sixth Japanese routine, Fukumori, literally means the rotation of textiles, and it is one of those silent habits that keep Japanese homes fresh, clean, and in excellent condition without needing to be constantly buying new things. In Japan, housewives know that textiles are like sponges. They absorb moisture, odors, bacteria, and wear. And if you always use the same ones, they always wear out in the same spots, they always smell the same, and sooner or later, they end up accumulating mold or stains that are hard to remove. That is why they do not obsess over having heaps of towels, heaps of cloths, or dozens of covers. They do not look for quantity, they look for circulation. Once a month, they do a fukumori, a quick review in which they change the towels they use for others that were stored, rotate tablecloths, wash and replace kitchen cloths, change cushion covers, and even rotate the light blankets that are on the sofa. It is a simple movement. What is in use goes to the laundry and to rest, and what was stored comes out to take its turn. This habit prevents something that happens in many homes without us realizing it. Textiles wear out in zones. A towel you always use ends up rough only on one side. A cushion that is always squashed loses its shape. A cloth that is always used ends up smelling bad even if you wash it. But in Japan, by rotating them, their lifespan is extended a lot because the wear is distributed. And above all, the home always feels fresh, as if you had renewed the home without buying anything. In addition, fukumori prevents the appearance of mold and trapped moisture, especially in kitchen cloths and bath towels. When a textile rests for a while, well washed and dry, it recovers its softness, its smell, and its ability to absorb. It is as if it breathed. On the other hand, when you use the same cloth day and night without letting it rest, it accumulates moisture that later turns into stains and bad odors that are hard to remove. This Japanese habit also helps to reduce impulsive purchases. Many people feel that their textiles no longer work because they look tired, but in reality they are overused. Japanese women know this, and instead of buying more, they simply rotate. This way they keep the home with a renewed appearance without spending money. Fukumori does not take your time. You do it once a month, in less than 10 minutes. It is a kind of energetic reset of the home. You change the fabrics, the atmosphere changes. It is like opening a window, but in textile version. And the best thing is that by rotating, you take care of what you have, you save money, and you prevent your textiles from turning into a source of odor, mold, or a feeling of visual disorder. A home that rotates, breathes. And that is the essence of this beautiful Japanese routine. The seventh routine, Chiryoku Tsubo, is one of the most intelligent and realistic in the Japanese culture of order. Chiryoku literally means to stop clutter, and Tsubo refers to small containers or strategic points inside the home. But here is the Japanese secret. They do not seek to completely eliminate clutter because that is impossible in a home where people live, but to control it, contain it, lock it in before it spreads throughout the entire home. In Japan, housewives place small clutter breaking points: a tray at the entrance for keys, receipts, coins, and masks, a bowl on the dining table for objects that always end up there, a basket in the living room where remote controls, chargers, headphones, or small toys are placed, even a little dish in the bathroom to leave accessories or cosmetics that are used quickly. They are small, discreet spaces, but highly strategic. Why does it work so well? Because clutter does not come from big things, but from small ones: a key put in the wrong place, a loose receipt, a pen no one put away, a piece of paper that stayed on the table. Those objects multiply without you noticing, and when you realize it, you already have a visual minefield that stresses you out as soon as you enter the home. Chiryoku Tsubo breaks that cycle from the beginning. The most interesting thing is that these points do not seek to hide clutter or sweep it under the rug. On the contrary, they display it in a controlled way. Everything that does not have an immediate home goes to the designated Tsubo, and when the Tsubo is full, that is the automatic reminder that the time has come to empty it. Not before, not after. This prevents you from spending mental energy thinking about where to put each thing in the moment, and it also prevents clutter from spreading everywhere. In addition, Chiryoku Tsubo creates a natural, not forced order. The home adapts to the real habits of the family. If everyone leaves their cell phone on the table, they do not fight against that, they place a bowl right there. If everyone throws receipts when they enter, they put a tray. If children always leave small toys in the living room, they place a basket where they tend to leave them. It is an order that flows with life, not against it. And the real benefit is this: clutter stops expanding. You no longer find it on every surface, it no longer grows out of control, it no longer steals your energy. By containing it in small points, your home always looks tidier, cleaner, and calmer, even on busy days. It is a wise, practical Japanese routine, perfect for homemakers who want real order without imposing impossible expectations on themselves. The eighth routine, known as Kuchibiru Pausa, is one of the simplest yet most powerful because it has nothing to do with cleaning, but with how you prepare yourself to clean. In Japan, before starting a big task, whether tidying up a whole room, cleaning the kitchen after cooking, or facing a very messy space, housewives do something that seems insignificant. They keep still and take 3 deep breaths. Just 3. But the intention behind those breaths is what changes everything. Kuchibiru means lips, and the pause refers to that moment when the lips relax, the body stops tensing, and the mind shifts from stress mode to presence mode. Because what tires you the most is not cleaning itself. It is anticipation. That typical thought, This task is going to take me hours. I am not going to finish. What a tiredness awaits me. That mental load drains you before you start. And that is where the Japanese break the cycle. They make a conscious pause of 3 breaths to reduce emotional saturation. On the first breath, they acknowledge the task without fighting it. On the second, they release the tension in their shoulders and slow down their internal rhythm. On the third, they get ready to do what they can. Not what is perfect, not what is impossible, what is necessary. That emotional difference is huge. Instead of starting from exhaustion, you start from calm. And when you start from calm, you clean faster, you get less frustrated, and most importantly, you do not quit halfway. This Japanese habit also prevents that classic mental block that occurs when the task is too big. When you look at a complete disaster, you feel that you cannot handle everything. But after this small pause, your mind focuses on the first step, not on the end. And when you focus on the first step, the rest flows. Japanese housewives often repeat a phrase, the body gets tired, the mind multiplies it. The kuchibiru pause cuts off that mental exhaustion before it is born. It is just an instant, but it gives you back control, clarity, and energy. It reminds you that you are the one who directs the task, not the other way around. And perhaps the most important thing, this technique makes keeping the home clean not feel like an endless punishment. It feels like something more manageable, lighter, even kinder to yourself. Because you give yourself permission to breathe before acting. And sometimes, that is exactly what your home and your heart need. The 9th routine, Oto Keigen, means reduce the noise, but it does not refer to sound. It refers to visual noise. In Japan, they understand something that in many Western homes is overlooked. It is not only clutter that wears you out, it is also strong colors, loud labels, shiny containers, and all those visual elements that saturate your mind without you noticing it. Your home can be clean, but if it is full of visual noise, your mind never fully rests. That is why, once a week, Japanese housewives devote just 5 minutes to this routine, to look around the home and eliminate that unnecessary visual noise. Removing labels from new jars, taking off unnecessary wrappers, changing a brightly colored container for a more neutral one, taking out empty boxes, folding product packaging that no longer adds anything visually, removing stickers and papers that were left stuck on some surface. It is an aesthetic, silent but deeply effective cleaning. The human eye is very sensitive to visual clutter, even when you are not aware of it. Seeing 10 shiny labels in the kitchen, detergent containers with screaming colors, food boxes with big letters, crumpled bags in the pantry. All that activates micro-alerts in your brain all day long. It creates tiredness, irritability, and the constant feeling that something is out of place. When you reduce that visual noise, your home instantly looks tidier without having moved a single object. This Japanese habit works especially well in kitchens, bathrooms, and pantries, which tend to be the places with most containers and labels. When everything is more neutral, more uniform, more calm, the mind also calms down. Even tasks seem less heavy, because visually there are fewer things competing for your attention. Oto Keigen also has an emotional side. It reduces the feeling of chaos. When you see a clean and visually quiet space, your body immediately lowers its tension. You do not need to have a minimalist home, just remove what visually screams at you for no reason. It is something that takes 5 minutes, but the relief lasts all week. This routine shows something key about Japanese order. It is not only about cleaning objects, but also about cleaning the visual energy of the home. When the environment calms down, you also calm down. And a calm homemaker becomes more efficient, lighter, and happier in her home. Oto Keigen is not aesthetics, it is well-being. The 10th routine, Hurricane's fin, literally means spring wind, and it is a Japanese closure that is as simple as it is powerful. After cleaning, no matter if it was a big cleaning or just a small tidying, Japanese women open the windows for 2 minutes. Just 2. But they do not do it to ventilate or to change the air in the physical sense. They do it for something much deeper, to change the emotional air of the home. In Japan, it is believed that the home holds the energy of the actions you carry out inside it. When you clean, you remove dust, grease, and clutter. But emotions also accumulate: tiredness, frustration, stress, overwhelm. Hurricane's fin serves to let that load out and allow new air to enter as a symbol of renewal. It is as if the home were breathing with you. That small gesture gives a ritual closure to cleaning, like marking an official end, this is done. The most surprising thing is that this habit makes the home feel cleaner even if you have not done a deep cleaning. Because fresh air changes the perception of the space, smells soften, the temperature balances, and the light seems to enter differently. Even a room that you only tidied up for a few minutes feels more spacious, lighter, more alive. It is a sensory and emotional change that transforms your relationship with the space. In addition, this Japanese ritual avoids something that many homemakers know very well, that feeling that after cleaning the home still feels heavy. Sometimes you clean, pick up, fold, vacuum, and still feel that the atmosphere did not change. That happens because a closure is missing. That instant where the home and you synchronize is missing. Harmonious fin is that closure, a shared breath between the home and the person who takes care of it. It also helps create a sense of accomplishment. When you open the windows and feel the air come in, your mind registers that you finished. That prevents the emotional exhaustion of feeling that cleaning never ends. It gives you clarity, satisfaction, and a quiet motivation to continue maintaining order without feeling it is eternal. Wind, even when it is soft, has a very powerful psychological effect. It moves stagnant energy. That is why in Japan this final step is mandatory. It is not a luxury, it is not a whim, it is an emotional reset. A reminder that your home is not only cleaned, it is also renewed. Harmonious fin is proof that the smallest rituals can have the biggest effects. 2 minutes, one open window, and the home once again feels like a refuge. And you, as its owner and caretaker, finish your routine with the feeling of having given life back to your space. If you apply these routines, your home is going to feel lighter, simpler, and calmer. And you will too. Which of these do you want to try today?